There are some mistakes I did while doing photography. 1. When I got my first camera, I was using auto. Auto for everything. And when I think back to it now, I would never, ever use auto now. If I wasn't using auto in the past, I would have learned how to use manual. And I wouldn't be dependent on my camera to make the correct settings. And sometimes it doesn't do a perfect job. Because of that very reason, it was limiting my freedom of creating. So, if you're using auto, stop. Just switch to manual. Stop using auto. So this is how you go to manual if you're using auto. It's different for each camera, but it's the M. Look for the N. That's all you gotta know. M. 2. I was just taking a lot of pictures for no reason. I was just afraid I wouldn't have enough, or a lot of them won't be good. In my head, it was like, if I take more pictures, there's more chances that I will get at least one good one. But nowadays, I tend to take less pictures and focus on the composition more than the picture, or the idea behind the picture, more than the amount of pictures, just to get one good one. So, yeah, stop doing that. 3. Not using Lightroom. So, I didn't know about Lightroom at all. I knew about Photoshop, and that was it. I used to batch edit on Photoshop, and it was a nightmare. So Lightroom was a lifesaver. You could edit all your pictures in one place. If you color grade one of your pictures, then you can sync it to all of them. It was amazing. Lightroom was the best, hands down. Never gonna use Photoshop for batch editing ever. Photoshop has its reasons, it does, but not for editing a bunch of pictures at once. So, yeah, never switching back. 4. I usually used to limit my ISO. I was afraid to go above the limit because I didn't want that extra grain. I just wanted everything in detail. And nowadays when I think about it, I think it's really stupid that I did that. Main reason is sometimes you need more ISO because of the place you are at. And it was affecting my creativity and the amount of things I could have done at that place, that I limited myself because of the ISO and didn't want the grain. So all I have to say is that just take the picture. Don't care about if it's gonna be grainy or whatnot. Just take it and you're not gonna regret it. Who knows, it might not be grainy at all. 5. SD cards. In the beginning, I had the standard basic SD card and I was shooting in RAW. Like, it did the job, but I noticed it was taking so much time to process the picture while I wanted to take another picture. At the time I had a T6i. It was just taking so long to process the picture so I can take my next picture because I was shooting in RAW and it was like big files. And I didn't know SD cards came in different speeds. Like, this is a pro version, this is a semi-pro version, there's a higher version than this. So yeah, SD cards come in different versions. 6. Underexposing my photos. I did this so many times just to get that moody vibe in my photos, and now when I think about it, it wasn't that moody at all. It was just stupid. Like, you couldn't see the details, it was just, I ended up cranking the exposure on Lightroom and made everything worse. So, underexposing my photos wasn't the best idea. Like, sometimes it worked, not gonna lie, sometimes it was cool, but a lot of times it didn't work. Just didn't work. 7. I'm also a graphic designer, and with my photography, I tend to put my graphic design work out there, or mix them both together. So I had this idea. It was because of class. I was making lines for a project about society, and the white lines of society or something like that. And I started putting that in my photos. There was like a billion lines going through me, whatnot. And now when I think about it, I'm like, why did I do that? Like, it was cool, it kind of looked cool, but there was no purpose behind the lines. I could make something up, like be like, oh, lines of society, oh, feeling trapped and stuff. But in reality, I didn't do it for that. I just did it because it looked cool, or I thought it looked cool, or I believed it looked cool. So yeah, that's why I did it back then. Backing up your work. This is important. Like, one thing you should take away from me today is backing up your work. No matter if you're a photographer or a designer, backing up your work is a must. 8. That's 8. Backing up your work. If you're gonna take away anything from this video, this is it. You have to back up your work. If you don't, trust me, you're gonna hate your life. Like, imagine all your work disappearing in a matter of a second. So, I have a little story to tell you. It was like a few years back. I had a hard drive where I stored every single work, aka backed up my work. And that was the only source where I backed up my work. I had a few work on my desktop, but after I was done, I back up my work on there. And my hard drive got crashed. All my stuff in that hard drive was completely wiped. So nowadays, I back up my backup and also back up that backup. Sounds insane, but you have to do it. Trust me, the last thing you want to do is lose your work. Like, it hurts. Deep inside, it hurts. So I use a hard drive, back up that hard drive with another hard drive, and back up that hard drive with a cloud storage like Google Drive or Dropbox. So yeah, back up your backup. 9. I used to shoot in low apertures. It was like the first time I got my 50. It was f1.8, and I was like, oh my god, everything's so blurry and so bright. I'm never gonna switch from f1.8. f1.8 works for some things, but not everything. For example, if you're shooting a family portrait, you're shooting a group of people, then f1.8 wouldn't work. Because one person might be clear and everyone else would be blurry. And that's the last thing you want. So don't care about the blurriness of the picture. Care about the vibe. Care about the vibe and the mood you're trying to set for the picture. It got really bright for no reason. One of the big mistakes I made was not using a flash. Like, I did try it in my T6i when I was younger with the pop-up flash. Don't use that. It's not the best. Like, if you're gonna put like, if you have to use it, put like a bag on top of it so it diffuses the light. But if not, if you're just gonna use it without any diffusion, then stop. Don't use it at all. Nowadays, I love flash. I love my flash. Like, I love how the shadows work, how the details I get with flash that I don't with regular lighting. Plus, with a trigger, it just enhances your flash. So I definitely recommend a flash and a trigger. This one's cheap. Like, it was like 60, 70 bucks, I believe, but I have to recheck. But I would definitely recommend this one if you want to buy it. And no, I don't get any money from it, so yeah, I'm just doing this for free. And if you have any questions about the graphic design field or even photography maybe, just leave a comment down below. I'll try to answer them as quickly as possible. Or follow me on IG and I'll try to answer it there. If you like this video, don't forget to like and subscribe, and I will be posting every week on a Friday.